Hello, lovelies. I'm going to plug this puppy in. Okay, there we are. How is everyone today? It's Friday. FriYay! Who is in the house? Bring it on. Let's see who is here. I'm excited to be here. I am excited for all the things. We got a lot going on here in Saving Dinnerland. Got some good stuff. Lots and lots of really good questions too, by the way. I love it when you send in your questions. And you can do that, by the way, anytime you like. You won't get it answered today, but you can send a question in. It's easy. I answer questions every single Friday. I do. You send an email to support@savingdinner.com. In the subject line, it's really easy. Question for Leanne on Friday. Bada bing, bada bang. And then I answer it right here on Friday. So come on in. The water's fine. Nobody has said comment one yet. Not a soul. Do you want to be the first one to say something? Do you? Come on in, ladies. I see Barbara Blazer. I haven't seen you in 100 years. Hi, Barbara. Jenny's in the house after her big move. Wow, come on. Keep coming. Keep coming. Nobody has said a word. Nobody's here. I'm just going to be here minding my own business. I'm counting numbers as people come in. 39. Do you think we can get to 40? 41. Say hello. Tell me where you're calling from. Where are you calling from? I used to say that all the time when I had my own show. I had a radio show in Southern California. If anybody remembers way back in the early 2000s, Heart of a Woman. This is Leanne Ely at KBRT, Heart of a Woman. Give me a call. I'll set you straight. Who else is here? Gosh, not a single soul. You can see several comments? I can see nothing. I don't know what that's about. Okay. Jenny just buzzed me and said she sees some comments. All right, I don't know what that is. Maybe I pressed something I shouldn't have pressed. I don't know. I don't know. All I see is Nikki Peterson's watching, Barbara Blazer's watching, Jenny Mason's watching. That's it. I think I pressed a button or something. Anyway, hello, ladies. You've got questions, I've got answers. That's what today's about. We got lots of questions, and I want to get to them. I want to get you all answered up. We've got a lot, and they're really good questions. Again, you guys, you've always come. You meet me right here in the place of asking some really terrific questions, and I've got them all here today. So today's quote is, "There is no influence like the influence of habit" by Gilbert Parker. And I love this quote simply because we know that habit is the framework for our lives. Without having habits in place, we can't do the good things that we want to do. And we all know when we're trying to quit a bad habit, how difficult it is. It's a framework, I remember when my mother was quitting smoking and all of that and everything that she went through, and changing out the framework because of a bad habit was very painful. But, if we can make those good habits, presto, everything is magical, isn't it? And transformational. The sprint starts on June 8th, folks, June 8th. And if you haven't been a part of our sprint community, I don't know what you're waiting for. It is absolutely free. You go to savingdinner.com, you will see it right there when you log in, when you go to the website. And by the way, if you see my ads, my little Facebook ads, they're just teeny tiny little videos. My hair is looking pretty fly too. Let me just tell you, right now, I've got, I don't even know, pandemic hairdo, I guess. I don't even know what to do with this business. I need all the things done right now. But anyway, if you see one of those ads, just click like it, share it, say something sweet and kind and lovely about it, because we get trolls. If you guys, you know, who are these trolls, by the way? Can I just, sidebar, I'm really done with them. They need to go get a life somewhere, not here, somewhere else. If you see a troll, you know, report them. Our Ships Free supplement this week is Digestzymes, and a lot of you are ordering them. I want to just say one thing, that one of the things that completely changed my life was getting my digestion under control. Because if your digestion's not on point, either is your nutrition. I don't care if you have the most stellar diet on the planet. If you can't digest it, you're not going to extrapolate any of those nutrients. Digestzymes did it for me. And most women over the age of 35 just don't digest like they used to. And if you have a compromised gallbladder or no gallbladder at all, this will do it. This helps with digestion and heartburn and all the other stuff. And Rolaids and all that other crap, you know what that helps with? It doesn't help, it suppresses. Big difference. We want action. We don't want to just pretend it's not there, right? Am I right? Give me some thumbs up or something. I don't get it. You know, I don't have any feedback here. It's making me sad. This little mindful mug goes out to you if you order $200 worth of supplements for absolutely free. And if you're smart and put Digestzymes in the cart, I am going to send you your whole shipment free. Seriously, absolutely free. It doesn't matter how much stuff is in there, as long as you live in the United States. Free. There's a code, Ships Free, that you put in, and this little guy will be coming to you, and I will be sending you this card with a little note that says thank you, because I love you. And I do. That's how it works. If you spend $100 and throw in $5 and say, I want this darn mug, you'll get that too. So that's just how we roll around here. We do good, fun things. At 4 o'clock, I have a cooking lesson. As a matter of fact, it relates to one of the questions that we have today. Cooking lessons are at 4 p.m. Eastern every single day. Rock and roll. I've already got the shrimp thawing just to wet your whistle. Okay? And don't forget, if you want to continue to support us here at Saving Dinner, become a Dinner Answers member. You know, we give you menus, recipes, shopping lists, however you eat. It's all up to you. And it's $7 a month. That's our pandemic pricing. But you know, here's the good thing to know. Pandemic pricing is cool because you will always have that $7 a month. It doesn't matter if it goes up, and it will go up as soon as this is all done, because it's like a scraping by for me, but for you, this is a deal for life. I'm cool like that. And don't forget, too, free stuff all over our website at savingdinner.com, and you can get our newsletter, you can get our recipes, you can get all kinds of stuff from us, because we keep the information pumping. That's what we do. We are good like that. All right, so who wants some questions? Because I got some answers. And don't forget, you can send your questions in to support@savingdinner.com. In the email subject line, you say, question for Leanne on Friday. I have 18,000 tabs up, so I just had to find it. And by the way, for those of you who have been cheering me on about getting my book done, thank you, because I have been on a roll. I've been cranking it up. And I'll tell you, there's just nothing like accomplishment, is there? And wait till you guys hear, I hope you join me tomorrow for Soulful Saturday. I've got some juicy stuff. Juicy. You're not going to want to miss it. And I hope you can come live at 1 o'clock every day. I'm here, you know, locked in. All right, so this first question comes from Laura, and she said, I take magnesium for digestion help. I also take calcium separately. You'd mentioned that they need to be balanced. How can I do that with what I'm taking now? Well, unfortunately, Laura, you didn't give me any information of what you're taking. And what you need to understand is the ratios need to be 1 to 1. And it's less than we thought, you know. And our CalMag, with our CalMag, we have 500 milligrams on each. And you take 2 tablets. Each bottle's 30 days worth, you know. and you take 2 tablets. And that's basically what you need. If you take a little extra magnesium, that's fine. I have a lot of, as a matter of fact, coaching clients of mine who take magnesium again at night. They don't do the CalMags, they just do the Calm drink or whatever, and that works just fine. You just need to make sure that you've got, if you're taking calcium, magnesium, it's 500 and 500. The old research showed us that it used to be 3 to 1 way back when I learned and I was becoming a nutritionist. Then it became 2 to 1, and now the newest research says it is 1 to 1. And the problem with calcium, understand this, it's the metabolism of calcium. Humongous molecules and hard for the body to break down, but the magnesium helps. And the other thing to understand is that it's not as much the calcium as is the supporting minerals that are so important. Calcium is important, and yes, you'll get it in, but there's so many things that you can do for good bone health. It's not just CalMax, right? You know that. Weight-bearing exercise. I see you, Nora. my trainer's here. Weight-bearing exercise, absolutely critical. Taking your collagen, essential, because that is basically the matrix from which everything hangs, kind of a thing. And then, the other thing is just making sure that you're active. I also use my rebounder, and rebounders are really good for building strong bones. So those are things that you can do. Your diet, of course, on point, but it has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. And I will just, challenge you to go to savingdinner.com/wise. You can read all about those supplements, and the research is there on why this CalMag on a 1-to-1 ratio is so critical and so important. I'll tell you, it just blew the top off my head, because for years, up until earlier this year, I was saying, oh, it's got to be 2 to 1. Used to be 3 to 1, now it's 2 to 1, and now it's 1 to 1. So I have a feeling that even still, there's going to be more research on the way. But just keep up to it. Keep up with it, because nutrition research changes all the time. And that research is basically being updated. What they found when you're going with the 2 to 1, or even the old 3 to 1 or the 2 to 1 ratio with calcium magnesium, is that there's calcification issues with all of that calcium, because it's not getting processed. It's ending up in kidney stones and gallstones. It's ending up calcifying in your arteries. It's ending up being problematic with arthritics. So that's huge. You need to hear these things and know these things, because we think we're doing all the right stuff, and we keep but we're using outdated information. Like the whole thing. I've had a few coaching clients that I've had to coach through this whole idea of drinking non-fat milk and eating dry toast and all of that. It's just, that's old nutrition information, and aren't you so glad? We can get out a step away from the diet culture. That's what we're all about here too. We just don't dig that. So understanding this is really, really crucial. What you're taking now, just, I guess, split the tablet in half, cut that, I don't know what you've got. I can't answer that as thoroughly as I would like to, but just understand that it needs to be 1 to 1. And if you can't make it work with what you have, then do something else. The other thing that I will mention too, while we're on the subject, is capsules versus tablets. And I will say, I just was talking about digestion, right? That is, a lot of times they have this inherent coating on it, and it makes it so that supposedly it goes into the stomach and then gets, goes into the gut, and then from there gets, assimilated. Well, if you have compromised digestion and you're not digesting all so well, I have evidence that tells you that those tablets oftentimes end up just whole in your poop. So a friend of mine, Neil Spate, who's a doctor in Charlotte, he's got an integrative medical practice. I've known him for years and years and years. And he actually had a patient of his who owned all those porta potties. And when Neil was talking to him and saying, I'm going to give you a case for why you're not going to want to be taking, these drugstore supplements that you've been taking, the guy stopped him in mid-sentence. He goes, "Doc, you don't have to do that." He said, "I own a porta potty business, remember?" He said, "You can see where it says Centrum Silver right on the tablet when we're emptying those things." Pretty disgusting, right? But that's the way it is. We don't digest it. We're not taking that inert coating off of it, and we're just throwing our money down the drain. So capsules are your friends. They fall apart easily. They go through the system, and your body knows what to do with them very, a lot better. It's that inert coating is basically turtle wax, like what they use on cars to hold it together. And it's basic, in my opinion, it's more for the manufacturer. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's cheap and easy supplements are what you see in the drugstores, unfortunately. Laura also says, I have been off and on with you and saving dinner, so enjoy it. Regarding the hot melt sprint, I'm allergic to a lot of foods. I haven't gotten the information yet, but I'm allergic to fish. Can you talk about substitutes? Sure, I can do that. So Laura, whatever does work for you is what you need to integrate in. So if fish doesn't work, take it off the menu. Obviously, there's a lot of people. This is actually one of the top 10 food sensitivities out there. Did you know that? I never knew that, but I obviously I learned that when I was becoming a nutritionist. And so it is really, it's really crucial for you to have this information, and understand that whatever protein works for you is the protein that you should be using. So, I mean, if you can use anything. You can use salmon. I would always suggest wild salmon. Wild salmon's a better choice than farm raised, simply because you're going to get, the omega-3 fatty acids and none of the garbage that they feed farm raised salmon. That's number one. You can do, oh wait, you can't do salmon, so skip the salmon. Let's go. You can do chicken. You can do, and I always suggest chicken thighs. They have a little more fat in them, more satiating. This is why we are collagen deficient, y'all. We don't eat skin. We don't eat bones. We don't eat the cartilage like our grandparents used to do. We buy boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and it's not enough. There's no collagen in it. So that's why we have 97% of us have this collagen deficiency. So that was a sidebar. But anyway, whatever protein flips your lid, whatever you like is basically it. And there's all the recipes, all of them can be adapted. And every single one of my recipes can be adapted. We have a smothered hamburger, that burger patty that's just fabulous. Well, all those mushrooms and what have you. Well, if you were allergic to ground beef, you could take that and cook the chicken and put the mushrooms all on top of that and eat it that way. All the recipes in the sprint are pretty much interchangeable. They really are. And the other thing is you always have access to either me or customer service, which is brilliant, by the way. We have Tina, and Jenny helps out as well, our community manager. They know how to answer your questions. They're used to this stuff, and we will help you out. So just go get your sprint, copy it off, highlight the things in there that you're going to have to substitute, and see if you can find something that's a lateral, swap. For example, fish, well, do chicken instead. If you were allergic to cabbage, then do, some green lettuce or asparagus or whatever it is that you can use. But just be thinking green as far as all the vegetables are concerned, and just swap it out for what does work for you. I don't want that to hold you back. And any kind of substitution is quite fine in my book. If you had a sincerely massive food allergies to any kind of dairy, for example, don't use ghee, use coconut oil to cook in. If you, and just no butter, don't stay away from butter, and put a little coconut oil or use olive oil liberally. Those kind of things. And again, we are happy to help you out with any kind of substitute that you need. And that goes for everyone. If you have a substitution question, or you're kind of struggling over a recipe or whatever, just pop an email. We are at your service and happy to help you out. Okay, this is from Tammy. She says, this is my second week as a Saving Dinner member. I haven't tried any of them yet. So she does dinner answers. That's the one that I was talking about, the $7 pandemic pricing. She said, I haven't tried any of the recipes yet, but I did look through them last week, which is a big baby step for me. This week, I'm looking at them as I write this, and I pulled out some that I might be willing to try. You see, I don't like to cook. I feel overwhelmed and intimidated by it, but I'm trying my best. I'm committed to at least trying 1 or 2 recipes this week. Great. Question number 1. Some of the recipes call for the use of a grill. I don't have one. I live in an apartment and they are allowed on my balcony. What alternative, especially if I want to do kebabs? There's a second part of this question, which I am going to also put into the equation because there's a reason. Question number 2, what do you think of air fryers? I recently purchased one, so I'd be more motivated to cook. Do you have any recipes using air fryers, and can you recommend a good cookbook for it? There you go. That's from Tammy. Okay, so 2 things. 1, this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, I am going to be making kebabs in the air fryer because I do have a little air fryer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Couldn't be easier. And it takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you know, especially the way I'm using shrimp. I love air fryers. I think they're brilliant contraptions. It's basically a small convection oven is all it is. But it's nice because you can, you know, take it in and out and put it on the countertop and just use it. You can make a quick lunch in it. You just, lots of things you can do. And plus, you know, we don't want to be heating up our houses right now, do we? I mean, come on, it's summer. So we don't want to be turning on the great big oven, but you could do basically a small sheet pan meal in one of these little contraptions. So they're fabulous. I love them. They work great. For you to start with it, Tammy, just take a look. The little ones have little recipes in them, and follow the little recipes with it. Now, I want to go back to your question. Well, first of all, yes, you can do kebabs in the air fryer. Yay! Second, you can also buy these wonderful pans. They're made from cast iron, and they've got the little, you know, ribbies on them. I don't know. What do you call those things? I can't see anybody's question, so I can't tell you what it says. Wonder if this will work. Oop, I don't know. Maybe I'll see some answers now. But anyway, they have these little ribs on it, and you can put the pan on the stovetop, heat it up, grease it with a little bit of, you know, avocado oil or something, and then there goes your little kebab. It's cute. It's great. Wonderful. So I've got some kebab tips and all kinds of stuff for you today at 4 o'clock. How do you like that for a teaser, right? You gonna be with me at 4? I hope so. So I want to address the I don't like to cook part. You know, we don't like things that we don't know or understand. And what I want you to understand about cooking, and that goes for everything, not just cooking or brain surgery, but it goes for anything. It's intimidating. I get it. It's intimidating and we feel a little overwhelmed, like I don't know what to do. I'm going to give you some tips right now, and I hope you write them down, on what you can do in order to make yourself feel more comfortable in the kitchen and get used to it. Because at 4 o'clock, what I do is I just come into the kitchen and I go bam, 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 and throw stuff down. Now, the reason I'm doing that is to show you that yes, use a recipe, and yes, you can also figure out what to do with stuff that you've got in your refrigerator. I felt this was very important, especially considering, I mean, with the way things are going right now. There's some food shortages. We've seen some stuff, and so it's a good idea to be able to know what you can do with things that you have. That said, there are principles for cooking that are really important. And one of them is that you read through the recipe. It is the craziest thing, but I learned this the hard way. And I thought I was a fairly accomplished little cook when I was in my 20s and 30s. The first Girl Scout badge I earned, after all, was the cooking badge. And I would cook up a storm constantly when I was home, and my mother gave me responsibilities as I got older to cook family meals, and etc. So I felt like I knew what I was doing. However, I found out I did not one day when I was using a recipe and cooking, and it said, take your marinated meat out and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? And then I went back and I read it, and it said, must be marinated for 24 hours before using this recipe. So I learned a lesson, didn't I? We all need to learn that lesson. It helps us to see and picture and understand, oh, I need to have this, and then this happens. And if I do stir this up over heat and flip that on over, add this, mix this up, I'm gonna have dinner. You know, it's really essential. So the first thing is to read the recipe, read it. And we do our recipes, we don't pull out the culinary lingo. We'll just say chop it small. We don't say chiffonade or julienne or any of that business. We leave all the culinary lingo aside. And you know, we might say, hey, chop it, you know, large chop or whatever. But you know, everybody can do that, right? The other thing is this concept called mise en place, and I harp on mise en place simply because it will turn a non-cook into a cook, because at that point it becomes fun. Now let me explain. In French, mise en place means everything in its place. And what you need to do is look at the recipe, read it well, understand what you're going to do, and then pull everything you need for that recipe and put it in one spot. You see me do this every single day that I'm down in the kitchen showing you how to make something. All my ingredients are out. I've got all my implements. I've got my cutting board. I've got my knife. I've got a spatula. You know, I've got tongs. I've got a skillet, all the things. And the ingredients are all out there. When you're standing in place doing something, the creativity comes out, and you're looking at the sauce, you're evaluating things, you're watching the progress, you're tasting it to see how it goes. It's fun now, right? It's fun. It's creative. It's fun. And now you're gonna start being so confident that you're gonna say, oh, well, that's an idea. A cool recipe, Leanne, but I'm gonna add a little splash of tomato paste and change up the sauce or something. Cool. High five. You know, yes, and that's what comes with confidence in the kitchen. And that confidence comes when you're able to be all in. And you're all in when you have your mise en place set up. The other nice thing about it is you de-mise en place, if you will. This is my own terminology, so bear with me. And that is, you take everything, every time you use something, you move it to one area. I do this all the time. Move it to the area. I'm done with this, I'm moving it over here. Done with this, moving it over here. And then when I get done, I've got the dirty stuff, I've got the stuff that needs to go back in my spice drawer and into the refrigerator, and I've got my kitchen always clean, always ready, dishwasher always emptied, everything ready to go, accepting of what it is that I'm going to do with it. And then the cleanup is just nothing. It just happens just as quickly. As you put the whole thing together, you can deconstruct as well. Those are like, that's everything right there. You know, the rest of it is finesse. It's learning how to, understanding what sauté is. And there's chemistry going on here, you know. Sauté means in French, literally to jump. And so you have a skillet of hot stuff, you know, hot fat in there, like, you know, ghee or something that's smoke point worthy. And you'll always hear me talk about that, because burning oil is turning a good fat into a trans fat. We don't want that. That's unhealthy. So we use ghee, high smoke point. We use avocado oil, high smoke point. And that's the way we roll. We never ever want to see that oil smoke. So just those little things are enough to get you going. So if you saute the fill in the blanks, you know, saute the onions. Well, that means that in order to get a saute going, you're going to have a fat that's smoke point worthy, like I'm talking ghee or avocado oil, and you're going to have to crank up the heat, because saute means in French literally to jump. And so you want those onions pretty much jumping around, you know, and you keep them moving and you keep them moving, and you get to the point where it says, if they say brown them up, then you let them brown. If you get to the translucent point, well, they go from being opaque white to being almost, you can see through them. You see what I'm saying? And it's easy. All of these things you'll start to recognize. All these things you're going to start to make it so that, yeah, I can do that. I can do this. And it will flow. Practice is what it's all about. And you know, this is a life skill, and I believe something that should be taught to everyone, because when we have this skill set in our back pocket, we can do anything. We can change anything that's in the refrigerator into something that we're proud to eat and even serve to company. And not only that, but it makes us very self-sufficient. because what a bummer to not have any cooking skills and all of a sudden just be in this pandemic and having to, I mean, like having to go grocery shopping and figuring meals out and never cooked or never done anything. Pretty overwhelming, I get it. But I'm saying let's start at the beginning. Let's get a few skills down and start there. And I promise you, it is worth your effort and it's worth your time. And you're going to be really surprised at how well this whole thing turned out. So anyway, I just want to say to you too, Tammy, I'm super proud of you because, you know, going, you know, baby stepping your way into something that's hard and difficult, overwhelming, and super unknown is a courage point for you, because this is a decision that you made for yourself, for your health, and it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off hugely for you. So keep that up. Good for you. All right, this is from Sarah. Leanne, I have a question about recipe suggestions. I'm a mom of 3 munchkins who all have their food challenges. My oldest will try anything, my middle has texture sensitivities, and my youngest is a ball of energy who has a hard time just sitting and eating. I'm subscribed to Dinner Answers and I'm working on getting used to meal planning. I'm all for being respectful of food sensitivities and all that entails, but I don't have the energy or finances to tailor every plate. Been there, done that, and learned from it. With what recipes do you suggest, and do you have any tips on helping kids try new foods? Thanks so much, Sarah. Okay, we're on a cooking thing today, which I dig. I love to talk cooking. And I'm familiar with all of this, and I'm totally gonna help you out. I hope you take some notes. And any other mom that's out there that's listening to this, I want you to understand that you never, ever, ever have to be a short order cook again. Amen? I mean, come on. This is not how it is. You know, this is your house. This isn't Burger King where you can have it your way. This is your home. And so what you want to do is say, this is for dinner. Come on, y'all, sit down. It's time to belly up to the table. We're going to have dinner. So I get the middle has texture sensitivities. There's a lot of that. And, you know, you will hear, and excuse me, you know, when I was growing up, my parents certainly didn't care about texture sensitivities. I don't think that was even a thing when I was growing up. It was like, you sit at the table and you will sit there until it's 8 o'clock at night and that your milk is warm and you can't hide the Brussels sprouts in the milk, or the dog won't eat it, nothing. You know, you have to just sit there. And, you know, I remember gagging and almost throwing up and all of that. That's how they did it back then. You know, that was parenting back then. Now we'd be like arrested for child abuse. But I don't suggest that. I'm just telling you that was the way it was. I'm going to show you exactly what to do and get your kids involved so that you are no longer in this place. Okay? First of all, we have a family meeting. Sit down with the kids and say, okay, y'all, this is the way it is. And talk about different food. Talk about, doesn't this sound good? Doesn't that? Get them to help you with a basic something or other. Because when they're invested, when they're in it, and when they're considered and a part of it, then there's a whole different idea of what this is about. Oh, mom's going to be making pork chops tonight. We talked about those pork chops. It's going to be great. With the kid who has the sensitivities, the texture sensitivities, you know, make sure there's at least something on the plate that he will eat. And number 3 is, you know, your third child who has a hard time sitting and eating. You need a reward system in place for him. And I'm saying him because I don't know the sexes of your kids, which is fine. But if he has a hard time just sitting there, just a reward system, not food. We do not reward our children with food. They're not dogs, okay? Let's keep that in mind. Reward them with something, extra story time or a little extra Lego time, or, you know, even a little extra screen time, which that would be my last bastion of hope right there, because I don't like giving kids a lot of screen time. My kids were not allowed to have it. So keep that in mind, but just keep something that would be special and precious to him that they have that to look forward to if they get this many stars on the count. And you know, you got to get them involved. Have them put the sticky stars on there. Every time that they do something themselves, they become invested. They become more and more invested. So my best trick is to bring them all, as once you've sat down and you've had that family meeting and you've decided, yes, doesn't that sound good? Doesn't this sound wonderful? And because when you ask me what recipes do you suggest, I don't know. I can't make that, you know, assumption of what it is, because I don't know what your kids will eat or not eat. But you know, usually something like garlic lime chicken. Take the you know, you can make that for you and your husband, and then you put the spices, the hotter spices and stuff. Keep that out because you know, your kids will probably not like that, and just super adjust the recipe so you're making all one at the same time, adding the spices to another, and then you know, you can have that. So things like that. Kebabs are fun. We were just talking about kebabs. Kids love stuff on sticks, you know, just make sure they don't poke their eyes out or each other and use them as weapons, but things on sticks, fun, you know, and sauces to dip, massive fun. And let them make them. Then you bring them into the kitchen. Each kid gets a chance every night to help mom cook. This is how I got my 7-year-old son, who would not, maybe he had texture issues, I don't know, but he hated salad, hated it. He thought it was the most heinous thing on the planet Earth. But I got him in. I won him over. And it was, actually, I didn't win him over. He won himself over. And the way that I did it was I brought him into the kitchen. It was his night to cook. And I said, you're making the salad tonight. And he was kind of semi-horrified. And I said, you know what goes in a salad? Just go get stuff out of the crisper and start making the salad. So he went over into the crisper. He got out all the salad makings. And sure enough, you know, he was good. He created this amazing salad. You know, he had his own little cutting implements, and you can buy them, by the way, like for $8 on Amazon, child-safe cutting tools, even a French knife. I mean, they've gotten really rock and roll, you know, and just really fancy schmancy. Back in the day, they didn't have anything like that. Of course, Amazon was in its infancy, only selling books, but they didn't have anything like that back in the day. And I just collected pumpkin carving knives and let my kids use those. And that was their tools for cutting. But their hands-on nutrition is going to get more compliance. Hand to God. I have seen this myself. I've done it. Every coaching client that I've ever had, nutritional client that I've ever had, I've taught them this, and it's always worked. It's always worked. It's a lot of patience on your part. It's a lot of energy going out, but it is so worth it because a palate has to be trained, right? So so what you do with kids with these kind of sensitivities that are unwilling, like, I don't want to eat that, you just make them a deal. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you what, 1 bite, and you get a sticker on your chart or whatever, and then you get to earn your way into things. A long, long time ago, in a world far, far away, at the very beginning of Saving Dinner, I was out on the road a lot speaking, and I did a lot of schools and different places and talked about how important nutrition was for these kids, because this is, you know, this is baseline building here. This is foundational, and we've got to use good building materials. We can't dumb down their food and make them eat, you know, like chicken nuggets and shaped like dinosaurs and gross French fries all the time. And there's no nutrition there. They need this right now. They're building their whole systems. You know, they've got more brain cells getting built. Everything's fresh and new. We can't do this to our children. We can't give them these children's meals. We give them our food, okay? Amen? Stop dumbing down their food with corn dogs and chicken dinosaurs and all that kind of crap. It's total crap. You know, read the ingredients. You know, if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. And don't default to that stuff. Cook real food. Give your kids the real food. Everybody eats the same thing. But you are going to have work to do with some of your pickier eaters. That's all there is to it. But that, you know, we signed up for that as parents, right? So that's my suggestion, is that getting them into the kitchen, rewarding good behavior with non-food rewards, that's going to get them something that is an activity or something that you want to see happen anyway. Extra time in the park, riding around the bike, going on a bike ride with the family, having him help you do fill in the blank or puzzle time or extra game or being able to stay up late on a Friday night, anything like that. Those are the rewards that kids look forward to, and it helps them. They say it takes 6 to 7 times of trying something with a child's palate before they're actually willing to eat it, especially when they're a sensitive kid. So you make sure that when you're doing your menu planning, that you have something that everybody will eat that's going to be on the plate. Just start there with that one thing. And the second thing is the vegetable or whatever is the test subject. Have that be the one taste, and you get, a sticker. And it needs to be a sincere taste. They can't just like go, and throw it out after they put it in their mouth. They need to do it. I mean, this is part of growing up, is understanding that we have to develop that. When a kid goes out to ride a bike, they don't get on the bike and ride it perfectly. It takes a minute. And, I know that they've got these new cute little bikes that, are pedalless or whatever, that they learn how to balance. It's a lot faster now. Well, get it faster for you now, instead of the training wheels. The training wheels for you is to get them in the kitchen cooking. In the kitchen cooking. Every time you're in there, choose a helper and have that be a coveted thing. With my kids, they had their own stools that they could stand on. They had their own cooking implements that they used, their little, pumpkin carving knives that we used, because we didn't have the cool ones that they have now. They had aprons that they made, and they'd put their apron on. I mean, it was like a big deal. So Caroline had Monday, Wednesday, and Peter had Tuesday, Thursday, and it's a one-on-one with the kids. It's cool. And I promise you, you're gonna find some compliant kids, and it's gonna be it's a great way to build your relationship with your children as well. It worked so well with me. My daughter is now a recipe developer, and you know that, right? She does cooking here on Sundays, or Mondays, actually. Okay, Margot says, so yesterday we spoke about fish oil to aid in the lowering of cholesterol and my desire to take it in liquid form, and then I rethought my game plan. I'm ordering the Core 4. I take a low-dose statin and no other supplements. I began to rethink my strategy a little when I read the cholesterol myth at your suggestion. Mind blower. If you guys, anybody out there who's on statin drugs and cholesterol this and all that, and blood pressure medications and all of it, go read the cholesterol myth. Blow your mind off. It's Dr. Sinatra, a cardiologist, wrote it, and as well as my friend Johnny Bowden, who's a nutritionist. Love him. He's darling and knows his stuff. Anyway, I began to rethink a strategy. And so my question is, I wonder if I put fish oil on the back burner and start with the Core 4 with my new and improved diet of fish, avocados, and daily bone broth, etc., that I've already implemented and feels really good. Sure. But I would, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to say, let's do a can of good sardines every week. Yeah, that's a hardcore girlfriend. Wild Planet has some really good sardines, and every once in a while I will just say, it's sardine time. I think my body's saying, I need a little more omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 fatty acids, that is a big time deficiency that most of us have. And we do have a fish oil that's coming that will be in our shop likely this time next week. They're running all of our supplements tomorrow. All of them. They're bringing a crew in to run them all. And we are ordering way and above, so you're going to see some mighty fine deals. Keep your eyeballs peeled. Anyway, so yes, that will work. I will also mention too that exercise is one of the most underutilized parts of lowering your cholesterol. I mean, you want to get your cholesterol in line? There it is, right there. The other thing is getting rid of all those ridiculous seed oils. No more seed oil. No more of the Wesson oils. No more of the corn oil or soy oil or safflower oil or any of it. These are the oils that you want. A good extra virgin olive oil. We love ours. We use the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. Incredible oil. Second one is avocado oil. We use Ava Jane's avocado oil. This stuff is fresh pressed as well. It's dark green and it has quite a flavor, but we use it all the time. It's phenomenal, this amazing oil. We also have another bigger one, Calvado, I think is the name of it. So we use that as well. Avocado oil. Ghee is a good one. And you can use coconut oil as well. But you got to get rid of those commercial oils. They're killing everyone. They oxidize. It's ridiculous. So can we just make that deal, guys, that we're not using that stuff? And if you need like a mild, not, a no taste kind of a thing, then get the avocado oil in the great big bottle. Calvado, I think, is the brand that I use. I'm not sure the name, but that is, and they sell it at Costco. I've seen it there. But use that for sure. And let's just get rid of the others. The other stuff, when you have inflammation, that's part of the whole cholesterol myth book. But when you have inflammation, that inflammation is what makes the cholesterol rise up. So if you get rid of, basically we all have cholesterol in our blood, and as we get older, we naturally have more cholesterol. And cholesterol is not the issue. The issue is the inflammation, and the inflammation is the elevator, essentially, that brings the cholesterol levels up. So it's amazing what happens when you start taking care of things and you start to cool off that inflammation. Check it out. So good strategy. Let's see how you do, Margot. And you can always go back to the omega-3 fatty acids when it comes in. When it's after your next blood test. There's nothing here, Christine. Okay. All right, this is Jane, and she says, please talk about SAMe. It sounds very good. I received it, but haven't taken it since I've not discussed it with the doctor yet. I've read the disclaimers on the packaging, and I think I might be better to wait. Well, I'm just looking for the disclaimers. Okay. All right. So consult your healthcare practitioner. Yes. Individuals taking medication should discuss potential interactions, etc. Yeah, so that's on there. So this is SAMe. And SAMe is basically an enzyme that helps with methylation process. And it is wonderful for your joint health. It makes everything nice and flexible. And it's also, nature's antidepressant is what it is. Now, if you are bipolar or if you're already on an antidepressant medication, definitely talk to your healthcare provider about this. But I will tell you, SAMe saved my bacon. SAMe made it so that my hands would move again. I had carpal tunnel so badly, and SAMe changed that. And as a matter of fact, the doctor that I was telling you about before with the porta potties, Dr. Spate, anyway, Neil suggested to me that I take SAMe, and I have been taking it since then. That was in the 90s, and I've been taking it since then, and it changed everything, because I used to I'd go to bed just in such crucial pain. And this is back in the time when everybody was having all that carpal tunnel surgery. No thanks. Anyway, unnecessary if you get things lubed up, and SAMe will do that. But there's a lot to know about SAMe, and I can tell you it's used. If you go to WebMD, you can follow the studies. If you go to where else can you go for these studies? You can find studies at NCBI. You can find stuff everywhere, but you can do the research on this and take your research papers in with you to show why this would be a good thing for you. Now, SAMe here, ours is 200 milligrams. You can get, I take 2 of them, but the starting place is 400 or 200. And you start that and you do it on an empty stomach. And what this does, it methylates and it helps to connect all the dots. So one of the things, let me see if I can find the thing that I was going to tell you about. Where is it? Oh, what the other thing that it does is, by the way, here in the United States, you can buy this. In the EU, it is a prescription drug, and they use it, and they show efficacy of this over antidepressant medications with none of the side effects, none of the weight gain, sexual dysfunction, none of that, none of it. How depressing. You know, you lose your sex drive and you gain 20 pounds taking an antidepressant. What would that do to you? That would depress me. I mean, talk about a double whammy. So this is not what this is about. What this does is, and understand too, for SAMe, is it lights up, it helps you to make DNA, it helps the neurotransmitters in your head, and it helps to, you know, connect the dots, so to speak, in your head. It helps with estrogen metabolism, and that's really important, especially for those of you who've ever had a lump in their breast or have been told that they have too high of estrogen. This helps you to metabolize it. It helps you detox. It helps your mitochondria get the energy that it needs. It helps healthy liver function, your eye health, fat metabolism, and also histamine metabolism, because there's people who have histamine sensitivities. SAMe is all that in a bag of chips. So you just have to take it empty stomach first thing in the morning, and then, you know, see how you, after about a couple of weeks, you should notice a difference. If you don't, bump it up to 200 to 400 and see. Now, something really important, whether you buy this from me or not, is all I want you to do is make sure you do this. They have to be in these little nitrogen flushed packages. It is very unstable stuff. This is pharmaceutical grade. It's made in a pharmaceutical grade operation, and it's not cheap. I'm not going to lie to you, but I would give my arm before I would give up my SAMe. It's that important to me. It helps me to function, and it keeps me sane. Sane, I tell you. So Jane, my strong suggestion is to put it in a search engine. You can do it on Google or whatever search engine you like, is put SAMe and SAM, all in caps, dash lowercase e, the plus sign, research. And then you'll find all this research. You can print it out. You can go through, take your highlighter, show the doctor why you want to take it, and say, is there any way that we can swap this out or whatever it is? If he says, well, then no, the contraindications are this, then keep talking, keep negotiating. Proud of you too, by the way, for doing that and for speaking up for yourself and talking to your doctor. That's what it's all about, y'all. All right, so she's got her SAMe. She is ready to go. She says, you are an encouragement to me. I live alone and really love the cooking show. I love you, Jane. I think you're just a doll. Thanks for being there. And thanks for being such a support, because I always see you. I see you. Gisela says, if I sign up for the $7 dinner programs for one type, like maybe low carb, and after a month I want to change it to vegan or keto or whatever, can I do that? 100%. I mean, you can do whatever you want. When you're a member, you get on to the Dinner Answers dashboard, if you will, and you can choose, you can mix it up. You can say, I want this low carb recipe, I want that vegan recipe over there, and I want this one over here. And they can all be disconnected and disjointed if you want to. It's up to you. This is your life and your food. I will tell you, the best thing about this is that it is flexible. You can decide one day, 1 week, you know, I'm gonna be all keto this week. Cool, go do it. Or next week, I'm gonna be vegan. Great, you can handle that. You know, just do what you wanna do. And for $7 a month, I'm not asking you for anything more, just that. It's easy. Kim says, what is the best time of day to take your supplements? I don't eat breakfast, so is it okay to take them all on an empty stomach? Is it better to split up the supplements or take them all at the same time? Okay, this is such a good question. Such a good question. And I will say this, you guys are gonna laugh. In a perfect world, we would be taking them, like, take some here, take some there, take some here. Is that gonna happen? Is it? The answer is no. So the only thing, here's the rules that I have for myself. The stuff that you need to take out on an empty stomach, SAMe needs to be taken on an empty stomach. You take on an empty stomach. That's easy, and you piggyback that onto a habit that you're already doing. If you go into the kitchen every day and you're making coffee, that's when you pull out the SAMe and take it, as your coffee is brewing, right? Get that taken care of then. Everything else, with the exception of a probiotic, everything else really needs to be taken with food to be massively effective, because your food contains nutrients and your supplements are just piggybacking on your food so that it can be assimilated as well. So while your body is in the process of digesting, it's got the food to digest and the supplements to digest at the same time. If you take a bunch of supplements on an empty stomach, good chance that you're going to end up nauseated and just feeling kind of blech, and you're not going to get nearly the effectiveness out of them as you would if you did it with a meal. You don't have to take them first thing in the morning. You just need to take them when you have your first meal or smoothie. If you're breaking your fast with a Target trifecta smoothie, definitely you can take it then. That's when I take mine. And then at night, when you go to bed, take your probiotic. I take my proactive probiotic, which, by the way, looks just like this. And what I do is I take them out like this, and I put them, I have a little shelf on my nightstand, and I have it sitting there on the shelf. And as I'm getting into bed, same thing every night, I'm just such a creature of habit, but habits are so helpful, because then I don't have to think so hard all the time. But I put my water down, I put my phone on Brain FM for deep sleep, I get that going, and get into bed. And as I'm getting into bed, or putting the blankets down, I grab my water, I see that I've got my proactive probiotic, and I just take like 3 sips with it. And down it goes, easy, empty stomach. And I know that it's doing a lot of good work as I'm sleeping. It's replenishing the troops. Let's see here. Tina Hiltz. She said, I needed to mute you so it wouldn't pick up on what you were saying while I was talking. The doctors told me not to do weight-bearing exercise, but I have osteopenia and I'm 56. What kind of exercise would you suggest? I don't understand why they said not to do them. Well, I would definitely take a CalMag. I'm just gonna pound that CalMag all day long because very effective. Take collagen as well. We have our collagen that's sitting here on my desk. You can see it right behind me. Take some collagen. Collagen is also part of the bones. And I would use bands. Bands are really effective. I'd also do bar exercises and some yoga. But, resistant exercise is what helps with the bones. And what I would suggest is asking your doctors what they have against weight-resistant exercises. I don't understand. I've never heard of anything like that. But anyway, bands are fantastic. I mean, you put your foot on a band, hold the band up, and you can be doing one of these, and you're doing basically bicep curls. You can take a band and stand on it again, and a big one, and just raise it up and do lat pull downs. You can do a tricep kickback. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can put bands around your legs and do little mini plie type dealios. They work. So I would do that. The other thing is I'd work on my flexibility and stretching. That's super helpful. Getting your weight down and muscle up helps to protect the bones. That's just part and parcel. So I don't understand that question at all, but I would say that, I think the most important part of that would be that you're doing some kind of an exercise, and also ask your doctors what they have against weight-bearing exercise, because that is. I mean, if you go to WebMD and look it up, if you follow all the research, all the research says absolutely, and this is going to help. So I question the advice simply because I've never seen any evidence saying, if you have osteopenia, you shouldn't be doing any kind of weight-bearing exercise. So I would question that and get an answer about that first. And then secondarily, get yourself some bands. You can get them for like $5 off Amazon, $7, I don't know, under 10 anyway. You can buy a whole bag of bands. They've got things on how to do them, and use YouTube as your gym. YouTube has so much good stuff. I mean, tons. And there's experts from all over the world who they want to get their stuff out there. They want you using their programs. So you can do some really great exercises with them. Okay. Let's see here. Tina. I currently take this is from Davina. I currently take a 1-a-day vitamin. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that. Well, if you listened to me earlier, talking about Neil Spate and his patient, the guy who owned the porta potty business, those are eneric-coated vitamins, and I don't think they're that great. We have a multivitamin coming that is going to be here next week, and I helped formulate that. That's a good one. It's a really good one. Again, capsules. I like capsules. Capsules are assimilated so much easier than those eneric-coated tablets. And our Core 4, raw. These are core vitamins. This is what we're trying to do. This is what we're trying to do when we take everything, right? We want to do it as easy as we can without having to swallow all the pills and all of that. Well, it's just not that easy. Don't you wish it was? I do, but it's not. I mean, okay, I'm just going to show you here. There's mine. Those are my supplements from today. I've got my vitamin D in there. I've got all my vitamin C, all 10 of them. I take what I need to take, and I take what I need to take because this is how you support your body. This is how you support your immune system. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm sorry. I would take 30 times that if it's going to keep me healthy. But again, supplements are to supplement an already healthy diet. Get off the sugar and eat good, healthy food. Do that. You will see the biggest change ever. And then supplement with the core things that you need, the vitamin D, the B complex, the CalMags, and the CoQ10. That's what supports your heart health. All of these things work together. And what we're trying to do is support our bodies and give our bodies the nutrients that it needs to perform the functions that they should be performing on their own. And if we give them what they need, they'll do it. Our bodies are intuitively healthy. They want to do that. They're searching constantly for the building materials that they need in order to do the things that they need to do. If you don't give it to them and you're only handing your body a bunch of inflammation in the form of sugar and processed food and all that crap, we all know that. Come on, this is not rocket science. Our bodies are going to rebel. And then one day we're going to be sitting across the desk talking to somebody who says, I'm sorry, but you've got fill in the blank disease. It starts with our lifestyle, guys. And it's a long process, and it takes a while to get there, but I don't want you there. Buckle up. Let's eat well. Let's become a member of the Sprint. It's easy. It's free. Let's become the best versions that we can be of ourselves. It's simple to do, not easy to implement. It takes a minute. But you've got a community who supports you, and I'm here for you as well. Anyway, I'm going to get off my little soapbox and just say to you, happy FriYay. Thanks so much for joining me today. And don't forget, 4 p.m. today, I will be down in the kitchen showing you how to do kebabs on the air fryer. It's going to be fun. Peace out. Share this video. Bye.